Welcome to another edition of the Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative podcast. As always, I'm your host, Antoine Johnson, joined by none other than Dr. J.L. Adolph out of Georgia State University. We are at day 2 of the Healing Invisible Wounds 5th Annual Buffalo Fatherhood Initiative Conference, and we just got finished listening to an amazing session or plenary by Dr. J.L. Talk to us a little bit more about how hip-hop is therapy and how you tie all that into fatherhood.
Hip hop is like all music. It's therapeutic. Music is medicinal. It has a purpose. And so hip hop, more than any other genre of music, deals with psychological pain, psychological drama, and it's also about hope. So when I think about hip hop, especially when we talk about fatherhood and father wounds, hip hop has dealt with what does it mean for Black fatherhood if you grew up in if you grew up during Reaganomics and post-Reaganomics. It's a time when fathers were dealing with deindustrialization, mass incarceration, and drug addiction and that sort of thing. But the hope was they still overcame and they were still survivors. So hip hop in many ways offers a therapeutic space, kind of like the blues did for the previous generations before us.
Yeah, no, I love it. I used to listen to a lot of hip hop, and then, some of it bothered me a little. When I started to get a little older, I started to mature in my faith, and then just a different taste for music. I still listen to Christian hip hop music. One of the people that I listened to early on was Lecrae. So Lecrae talked, a lot about, fatherhood and in his music. But yeah, I can relate to how, artists or MCs, as you would say, weave in, their own stories of storytelling as it relates to healing father wounds and so forth. In fact, I wrote something down as you were speaking around how practitioners can use their storytelling to help others overcome their pain. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, you know what? I would say practitioners, educators, parents, the most important thing that you could share with your child is your narrative. And I think what young people love about hip hop is, for the most part, it's the raw, uncut narrative that doesn't have respectability politics. It doesn't have any of those grandiose things that's going to limit. What hip hop does is give you that raw, uncut storytelling. And our kids need to learn from those stories, the stories where we weren't necessarily the Superman, but we were the Clark Kents and that sort of thing, and how we overcame and how we struggle. I think narrative is the most beautiful thing you can share. And hip hop is a whole entire music based on just simply the beat and narrative. So, even if it's not the most positive and that sort of thing, as you said, maturing in faith, but there are still segments of the culture. Like when you mentioned Lecrae, one of my favorite fatherhood joints that he had is, I just want to be just like you. Yeah, that one is amazing. But I also love Kendrick Lamar, Father Time. So, those narratives are so vital to our community because we have a whole world that have written dominant narratives about what does it mean to be a Black male, and in particular as a Black father. And that stereotype has been absentee, deadbeat, and that sort of thing. Hip hop changes that.
Can you talk more about that as we close the false narrative about Black fathers and then what it actually is? You mentioned that during your presentation today.
I would say one of the things that hip hop has done for fatherhood, and it's several scholars that have wrote about it. Matter of fact, it's a book called Fathering in the Margins. Really, really dope. But for the most part, hip hop has made being an absentee father sort of outcast. It has made it not cool to not be involved in your child's life. When you see artists like T.I., Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, and several other young artists, J. Cole, all of them coming up and they express and show fatherhood, it really shows young men taking pride in being fathers to sons and daughters. And if nothing else, that gives an example of, this is someone who may come from a marginalized environment, but look at what he's done. He's changed his narrative and remixed what it means to be a dad.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Listen, thank you so much for coming all the way from Atlanta, Georgia to be here with us. I know you got a chance to check out the falls and do some things, but we so appreciate you for being here.
All right. I appreciate it too, brother. Thank you. Thank you.